Hey y'all, hey y'all. I apologize for taking so long. I'm having a little bit of a computer issue over here on the floor, which we're going to be using for part of this tutorial. I am going to give everybody a few minutes to come on board. I'm going to try and get this phone up also because I'm going to use it for the second part of this tutorial. So I want to make sure, let me make sure this is going to tell me that I'm live so I can answer your questions here in a few minutes, okay? So I'm going to open this up and think that I am not going to get any feedback. So I'm not ignoring you, okay? So let's see. All right, so I got that up and ready. I've got my computer still loading. It's being really slow. It's taking about 20 minutes to get where I'm at, and I'm still not on the internet. So I'm doing this live through my cell phone. So what we're going to do while we're waiting for the computer to get ready so we can do the Cricut part of the tutorial, because I feel like it's really important. There's a lot of people who have asked me a lot of questions, and I want to be able to help you guys with that, okay? So what I'm going to do now is we're going to do the alcohol ink tumbler, but I need somebody to send me a message. If you could, let me know you're here so I know if my comments are working, okay? That way, if you have any questions about what we're doing, I can answer those. I'm trying not to put any light on me. I'm trying to give y'all light on this cup, if we can. All right, I see this is starting to work over here, so we're coming together, guys, okay? So as soon as I get a message, I'm going to start talking. I'm going to swipe left and swipe right and see what I got. Let me see what we got here. For some reason, my messages, I just sent myself a message. So let's see. There's somebody. There is Miss Carla. Thank you, Carla. That way I know I can answer y'all's questions, okay? You'll see me peeking down here towards the floor. All I'm doing right here is trying to make sure I get the Cricut up and running so we can jump to this part as soon as we're done with the alcohol inks, okay? So as soon as I know I'm on board with that, we got everything going. We're good to go. I hope everybody's doing good. I'm so glad you're here. Like I said, I apologize for being a few minutes late. Trying to get everything working. And you know, Cricut has a mind of its own. If it wants to work, it's going to work. And if it don't want to, you're going to sit there and wait for it, I promise. So I'm just right now trying to wait on my internet. So we're going to go ahead and get this hair put up. I have to keep it real with you. I was going to do this tutorial at 3 o'clock. And my husband, who has not felt good in months and months and months, some of y'all know, actually just a month and a half, decided he wanted to go get something to eat. And of course, we've been in quarantine, so we're doing the right thing. We haven't really gone out in public. And we got out, y'all, by the time we had rolls and salad, we were full. So we were ready to come back. Now I'm about sleepy. So y'all overlook my hair. I had to get that stuff out of the way. Let me see what this is saying, and we're going to get started on this cup right here. We're going to do an alcohol ink tumbler. All right. Let me push a few buttons, magical buttons, to see if this is going to work down here. So I know we'll be able to do the second part, because it's really important. I know a lot of people need this. So what I'm going to tell you I've got here, this is a 20-ounce skinny. I got it from Hog or stainless steel. Actually, this is not. This is a built tumbler. Built tumblers you can sometimes get at Walmart. Sometimes you can pick them up at, I'm trying to think where all I have found them. Walmart, Michael's, and Hobby Lobby don't have them yet. So this had to come from Walmart or Target. And I don't go to Target much, so it must be from Walmart. But it is a 20-ounce. It is not a true skinny. What I mean by true skinny, and it's very important to know what by true skinny means, because let's say you want to do a water slide, a full water slide on this type of tumbler. I'm going to show you what would happen. Because it's slightly tapered, you would have to warp your image. So this really and truly is not a great candidate cup for a full water slide. So keep that in mind, okay? To do a really good, easy, full cup water slide, it needs to be a straight, like straight as a stick. So that would be similar to this. It's just a larger cup. It does look like it has a little taper, but I've measured it, and for some reason they work pretty darn well doing a regular on that, okay? So I'm going to stick this back on here. I'm kind of peeking everywhere to see if everything's working, okay? Y'all feel free, please, to message me or send messages during the tutorial if you have questions about anything, okay? I am popping a couple buttons over here just to make sure this will open up, so when we get ready to do the next part of the tutorial, this is ready to go, and you don't have to sit here and watch me look at the floor. That'd be outstanding, wouldn't it? Okay. So we have a 20-ounce built tumbler. Probably came from Walmart. I have sanded and prepped this cup. And remember, like we talked about yesterday, if you don't want to spend your time sanding and then going outside in the cold or the rain, prepping as far as your base paint with spray paint. And remember, keep in mind, use that 2X Rust-Oleum. It's a little more expensive, but I promise you it takes you 1 coat to cover the entire cup instead of that 2 to 3 or waiting on the runs or drips and things like that to happen, okay? If you don't like using spray paint because of the weather or it's raining, remember we talked about Christy Taylor Creations. She has a page called ChristyTaylorCreations.com. I will list it at the top of the page when we're done. But she has a lot of stuff, guys, okay? I actually buy her alcohol inks and her paints, but she does have other things. She has original artwork. She sells tumblers also. I have no problem promoting anybody. I don't get paid to promote. I'm just saying I don't mind sharing information with anybody, okay? Somebody's saying, glad I found you again. I watched you when you was in the... I know I used to be a girl. I almost wish I was back in the kitchen. I want y'all to look. You can't see all of it, but I've got a craft room. I got this whole room. But when I had surgery in October, and y'all know that was horrible because it was really Christmas before I could get up and walk, and it's now January something, and I am really truly just now getting around where I'm not dizzy and falling over. So I'm going to organize this room this month. So that's my goal this year, okay? Everybody has to set a resolution, and that's mine. So I'm peeking down here to make sure this Cricut's working on this laptop for our next part. Give me just a second. I don't know what is wrong with computers these days. They get a mind. It was working before we went to dinner, and I come back and now it don't work. But we're going to get it going. So Panthalon paints. Let me tell you about Panthalon paints from Christy Taylor. She has every color in the book. But let's say I did not want to go outside. It's pouring down rain. It's 20 degrees. And you know painting in that weather is not going to work. You don't even have to sand this cup. You can use her Panthalon paints, which are a clay-based paint. They are amazing. And this one, I have tape on it. That's why it's not opening. But it's basically feels similar to an acrylic paint, but it's not. It's a clay-based paint. And I will list her address or how to find her at the top of this tutorial when we're done, okay? Y'all just take 5 seconds and give her a peek out, okay, and see what she's got. Glad you're doing better. Thank you, Ashley, along with that. I'm telling you, he came in, and he's in yonder right now, sitting on the couch. And I told him, I said, I promised I was going to do a live today because I got a little lady having problems with her Cricut. And I want to show some people some stuff that I learned kind of by accident and on my own because I had nobody to really talk to when I was learning all this stuff. My husband bought me the Cricut, thought it'd be a great thing for me to have so I'd have something to do outside of taking care of babies all the time and being retired. So I got it, and it took me forever to figure some things out. But I want to share some shortcuts with you if you haven't already figured it out. Okay, and like I said, that's what you see me doing over here. I'm not real sure what it's doing, so I'm peeking at it. All right, so this is up and running when we get ready to do it. Awesome, awesome. So what I'm going to do today is just an alcohol tumbler. Okay, everybody ready for that? Everybody go, whoop, whoop, we're going to do a tumbler. We're going to do a tumbler. Now this, honestly, out of all the tumblers out there, outside of just a regular old plain glitter tumbler, okay? This is the one that we did 2 nights ago, but I do not have epoxy on it yet, so I need to go back and do epoxy. Straight glitter is all we're doing on that, putting epoxy on it, getting it smooth, ready to do our decal, and then cover with epoxy again. Outside of these, this tumbler I'm going to show you is the easiest tumbler to do. There's only a few things you have to watch for. Hey, Carla, whoop, whoop. That's right. Feeling a little better than I was yesterday, and I got a full tummy. I just hope I don't fall asleep on you guys. But alcohol inks are incredibly easy, okay? The only things I want to tell you about before we get going is some of the differences in alcohol inks because it's really important because I made the mistake myself, okay? Actually was looking before I got on here. I was trying to find a particular bottle that I had so I could show you what it looked like. But, you know, there's so many alcohol inks you see out there, y'all. There are Bria Reese alcohol inks. I'm just going to pull up some. I've got the Pinata inks, which are amazing. Bria Reese. Is that Bria Reese? Nope, that's J Ranger. I've got everybody in here. I got Bria Reese. Is that Bria Reese? It might be Bria Reese right here. I'm just showing you what the bottles look like. Bria Reese, okay? It's kind of hard to see because I got the light angled down, but these are like the purples, blues, browns for your wood grain. There are so many inks out there, you almost don't know what to buy, okay? When I started buying inks, I was buying strictly like from Michael's, Hobby Lobby, wherever. But then when you get online, you see some of the vendors for tumblers are selling the inks. Basically the same thing I just showed you, just each vendor has a different brand that they may promote, okay? Hey, Miss Vicky, how are you? I'm glad you're joining me, okay? Now, Christy Taylor, again, somebody I told you 2 days ago about some people that I use all the time. Just a quick story about Christy and how I met Christy, and so you know that I'm not sitting here at home getting freebies sent to my house in order to promote, because some people think that's what happens. But let me tell you how I met her. In our area, we have something called a jockey lot, or they call it market at the mill, okay? But basically, it's like a yard sale, but it's people you don't know, and they do this one in particular inside, okay? I was the only one up there selling tumblers for 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. And, you know, I talked to everybody. I don't know how to be quiet. I talked to everybody, but they had this big function. I don't even remember what it was for. I have no idea what holiday it was, but they were having a function where they were inviting all these vendors in, and they wanted to fill the house so people would have people to choose from on what they make wreaths, they make paintings, they make stuffed animals. I mean, anything you could think of there at a jockey lot or a yard sale you can buy. Furniture, whatever. Well, I look, it's funny, because I've been the only one there forever, and it's kind of sad and lonely because you don't have anybody to talk to about the trade, but there's a lady 2 tables behind me who has tumblers. I don't know where she's from. She didn't want to talk to nobody, and that was fine. I was just like, well, I just want to introduce myself, say hey, and tell you stuff's pretty, but she didn't want to talk, so I moved on down the road. Well, 2 tables to my right is Miss Christie. Miss Christie is just like I am. She wants to talk to everybody. She wants to know everybody. So I strike up a conversation with her. Turns out we actually did the exact same thing. We are both surgical techs. We're both kind of retired from that field. She used to travel where I worked mostly local. So we struck up a conversation about that, and her tumblers were beautiful. Then I started talking to her because she had inks for sale. That's what we're doing tonight. So she has alcohol inks, and she has different types of inks. This leads into my conversation I want to talk to you about. So I'm going to explain a few things about inks, and then we're going to get into making this. It won't take but a minute. Now, there's a metallic inks. There's pearlescent inks. There's just straight color inks. It's all really important to know. So let's just say, like, this is Christie's Astoria White. Okay, when you look at the bottle, I don't know if you can see that. You got a little BB there and something really settled. If you buy an ink, or if you're at this store and you're unsure, if it says, let me find one that's not her inks, so you see what I'm talking about. So if it says like pearl, okay, anytime you see pearl, it's got a BB in it. Anytime you see, I gotta shake this one good because she makes hers. This has been sitting in my bucket. If you see something that says metallic, there it is, here, metallic is going to have the shimmer to it. It's going to make it a much prettier color because it's iridescent looking, okay? So if you hear BB, it's going to be a metallic. Metallics don't like a lot of heat. So when you apply the metallic inks to your cup, once we put epoxy on it, you have to be very careful adding heat to it. You can still add heat because that's how you're going to get your flow of those inks to make it really pretty. And you'll see that when we get going. My most important thing is I want y'all to be able to see that cup. And I can't tell if that's a glare. So somebody, I'm going to leave it there for a few minutes. Y'all tell me if that's a glare on the cup or if you think you'll be able to see that better like that. But metallics don't like a lot of heat. So keep that in mind. If you're doing a cup and you're using those, please, 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 keep your heat to a minimum or keep it moving rather rapidly with your heat gun so you don't scorch it. I'm going to show you what happens when you scorch it. I've actually got an example of one that I did. The other type of inks that are out there are just standard colored inks. This just happened to be a Bria Reese, and this is a magenta. It's very pretty. No BB, straight color. I don't know if you can see that in there. No color. Does say alcohol ink on the bottle. Great vibrant colors. They're just not going to have that shimmer effect that kind of gives you that pearly sparkly look. Okay, let's see. Thank you for your sweet and giving spirit. You always make me smile. I love you, Vicky. Thank you. I'm here, y'all, to help you, okay? I promise. I wouldn't lead y'all in the wrong direction because this is my thing. I'm not trying to compete with anybody. I just want to have fun. I want to be creative. I want to have an outlet to just enjoy. And some people I see it on other pages, it really hurts my heart because they can't enjoy the full craft because somebody's never really sat and talked to them. So you can watch lives, and lives are amazing. I have a few lives. They're actually recorded lives on YouTube, but I just took them from a group I did and just threw them on YouTube so that people could have somebody that maybe they can relate to and answer questions. Okay, so I am here for questions. If you don't ask them during the live, send me a private message. I have no problem helping you because I want you to be able to enjoy this. It's not a cheap craft to get into. You know, your Cricut alone is expensive. Your turners, if you don't build them yourself, is expensive. All these little things add up. And if you've invested that much money in wanting to start this, I want you to be successful. Okay? Now, here's something else I want to tell y'all. We talked about alcohol inks and we talked about pearls or metallics. Anything with a BB and a shimmer. Doesn't like heat a lot. There are bottles out there. They are still useful. Matter of fact, Christy Taylor sells some on her site. They look just like this. They are inks, but they're watercolor inks. Please, 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 if you are doing tumblers and you're going to use epoxy, do not buy watercolor inks. Y'all, I walked into Hobby Lobby one time and they had this big pack. It was like six alcohol inks in a pack for like $3 on clearance. Of course, I jumped on it because one bottle was like $3. Got it home. I was so excited. I was going to go ahead and just do a cup just for fun, spin it out. Got on there, got my epoxy on it, and I dripped a drop. When I did, it rolled off. Kind of like mercury. If you ever, we won't talk about this mercury stories, where you take your temperature and put it to the stove because you don't want to go to school and then your mom will you bust the mercury. No, we won't talk about that. I guess I'm the only one that ever did that. But anyway, I got tickled. I tried to skip school one time, put the old thermometer on the stove head and busted it. There was mercury everywhere. But that was my funny story. Something I'll never forget. But anyway, the alcohol ink repels off epoxy. Okay, so you cannot use watercolor inks with epoxy. They make beautiful, like on your canvases. She makes some stuff with it. She does other things with the watercolor inks. If y'all ever get a chance, I'm going to send you her link too, just so you can share in her joy because she loves to craft. So you can see what she does with watercolor. So avoid watercolor inks if you're doing epoxy tumblers, okay? It's just another piece of information. These, if you've been to Hobby Lobby or if you've been to Michael's, you probably have seen these where the alcohol inks are. These, unfortunately, are, I got glitter on that bottle, are watercolor. Beautiful, beautiful color. This one's called Limeade, and it's gorgeous when you put it on. Can you see it at the top, what it kind of looks like up there? It's a gorgeous color, but it's watercolor. It rolls right off. So I have this for other things, but cannot use it for this. Okay, watercolor doesn't work. Only other liquids you may see, this has nothing to do with alcohol inks, but you're going to see these around. It's like almost every vendor I know or I've told y'all about sells these. It's like an addition that you put in your epoxy. Very, very minimal amounts. It's kind of a thicker than alcohol ink. So if you happen to see these things in little bottles and wonder what they're for, this actually says epoxy neon pigment. I don't remember where I got this from. But it's a pigment for your epoxy. Totally different from the alcohol inks, but it is in a bottle. Okay, I just wanted you to know there's differences. So what I'm going to do tonight, we're going to show you how to do this alcohol ink tumbler real quick. Show you some secrets and what's going to happen if you add too much ink or too much heat to your ink cup. And I'm going to stand up a second. You're still going to see me. But I have a cup up here I want to grab so I can show you something real quick. Don't look, y'all, I'm in my pajama pants. But they are decent looking. Grab 2 cups. Okay. Now these are just some I have on the shelf. I like to use things that are an example of mistakes that I've made, or if it's something that I've done wrong and I didn't quite like it or dig the color. I want to show you things that can happen. So remember me talking about this one's actually gotten chipped. That's why this one's up there. It's got a big old chip in it. All right. So this is an alcohol ink cup. See if I can get the light on it so you can see the glitter. So it's turned out to be a beautiful cup. I actually did some embossing powder, which is the glitter part you see in here, okay? But I want you to focus really well on the bottom rim. See where it looks, see how these are really pretty swirls and different things going on? And this looks kind of muddy. It's just muddy. It looks like it blended too much. Y'all, that's because I got it too hot. Okay? So keep that in mind. If you see smoke, which I have physically seen smoke, got it too close, got it too hot, it's going to look like that. It's not going to be the pretty colored swirls, okay? This one turned out, now this is a little different. Instead of doing a lot of the glitter, I did some white, and I didn't like it, so it's going on the strip bucket. So, but these colors, but see at the bottom, I did not get it as hot as I did that. Can y'all see the difference in those two? You have to really be careful with your heat, okay? That's the best advice I can give you with alcohol inks. Play, have a good time, see what you come up with and what you can create. Just be careful and leery of your heat. Okay, now epoxy, if you turned in last time, I won't have that conversation again because it's lengthy, but I typically use a fast set for anything I'm doing on the first coat, unless I know that that coat is going to show. Okay, so this coat is going to show. I'm going to use the ALE for this particular cup, because once I put the alcohol inks on, the ALE is going to give you all that shine, okay? Somebody's saying, let's see. They're beautiful cups. Hey, Bridget. Hey, Lori. I'm so glad you're here. Ashley, thank you so much. They're pretty, but I just see flaws in them. And actually, somebody had ordered those cups. And when I got done making them, I saw the one was too hot at the bottom. And I didn't like it. And I didn't want to send it to them because I knew that I had made a mistake. Y'all don't have to be that zealous, I promise. Because a lot of people would never even see that. But I knew it was there, and I wasn't happy with it, so I made her a different one. Ashley says, even with mistakes. Y'all are so sweet. But there's certain things, and you know what? I probably could have sent it to her, and she'd have probably never noticed, but I noticed. And I feel like these poor people are out here paying their good hard-earned money for a product that's handcrafted. And, of course, every handcrafted item is going to have a mistake. You can't have everything perfect. For example, I'll give you another example. I don't want you to think all my cups are perfect. So this is a crackle tumbler. Beautiful crackle. Let me get down here in the light. Beautiful crackle all the way around till you get right here. Now crackle's different. I got a huge hole here and a huge hole here. The only thing about the difference with this cup, there's crackle on the bottom, is I can physically cover these with she wants sunflowers on it. So what I'll do is I'll use a white water slide for a couple of those, or put her name down the center to take away from that spot. It's not that bad that I would not sell, because nothing's perfect. That looks okay. It might not be that perfect crackle that everybody would like to see. So everything's not going to be exactly perfect. You just use your best judgment, okay? Now, I'm going to get some measuring cups real quick. We're going to talk about this. Sorry, I haven't restocked on my table, so I'm reaching and grabbing for everything. But we're going to go ahead and mix up some epoxy. And this is going to be ALE. I'll show you the bottom. Just making sure there's no comments. These are a couple of my sample bottles that I got. I do have the huge bottles down here. I won't pull them up, okay? But the name is called ALE, or A Little Extra Incorporated. To find them, I did not realize they changed their order website. It's called aleshine.com. I'll add that to the top in the comments too, so you'll know. It's a part A and B. You have to mix exactly 50-50. So if I use, for this cup, I'm probably going to use, let me explain that too. Remember how we talked about on the glitter cups? You would want minimal epoxy and a lot of glitter. For alcohol ink cups, it's a little different. You want a little bit more epoxy on your alcohol inks. Reason being, you want those colors to be able to swirl in between each other. If I was to use, say, 7 or 8 cc's, or 8 milliliters, so 4 of one, 4 of another, to cover this cup to do glitter, it'd probably be perfect, may even be too much, okay? You'd probably get away with 5. But if I put 10 and 10 of that, that's 20 milliliters of epoxy. That's a lot. But for the alcohol inks to be able to go in and out of each other and really be beautiful, you want that little extra. If it's too much that the cup won't hold it, it's going to drip off. But I promise you won't get stuck with those big lumpy things, okay? And I think just because I'm doing something a little different, I'm going to grab, this is going to be a surprise to y'all. And some of y'all who have been following me a really long time, it won't be. But I'm going to show y'all something. So I've got that. Let me get this out real quick. I'm going to throw in something that a lot of y'all may have seen me do, but some of you who are new haven't. To get that glitter effect that's in this cup, can you see, like right through here? You can get that many ways. I've seen so many people come up with creative ideas on how to do that. What I do is I will either use a product by many of my friends. We'll just put, like Yvonne has one that is gorgeous. I'm reaching over here to get it. And it's called Diamond Dust. Y'all probably know what I'm talking about. So super, I don't know if that's going to show up fine. Almost like a holographic type glitter. It's called Diamond Dust. And this is not showing up real well. But it's from Mica Mania. Or I've got some others over here. Anything that's really super fine. Glitzology that I told you about has one. This has a lot of blue and gray hues to it. But it's called Mystic. It's by Glitzology. I put Joy's link in the last live. If you want to look that up, I'll put her another link up too. I actually got this at Michael's. It's the Recollections. It's over there where the glitter is. It's a little further down where the stamping stuff is, okay? And what this is embossing powder. You use it when you do stamping. You take your stamp and dip it in the clear embossing glue stuff, and then you dip it in this, and then put your heat gun to it, and it seals it, and it makes it, it's real pretty. But it does something magical in epoxy, guys. I swear it does. I don't know why it does, but it's absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to have another measuring cup over here. We're going to do a little bit of glitter swirl too. Okay? And I'll just show you the way I happen to do it. Just in case you want to try it. We'll give this cup a little bit of bling. Okay? So I'm going to mix more epoxy than I need. I do not want y'all to waste your epoxy. Just trying to keep up with me, because in case you weren't here on the last live, I want to show you what happens to this. Well, actually, this isn't the fast set, but I'm going to show you how clear this is once it sits for a few minutes. Okay, so keep in mind, I am mixing way more than you need. Do not mix this much for your project. Okay, it really truly will be a waste for you, but I'm doing this for you guys because I like to share. I am looking at my measurements on my cup, and I did get a hold of some really bad cups, and you really truly can't see the measurements. Yeah, if you've ordered off of Amazon, I made a point to go to my local pharmacy. That's back when Amazon got so behind, and bought some cups from them. And I'm telling you, I don't know how they measure out medicine, because you truly cannot see the measurements on here. But I'm going to hold it up to the light and see if we can get there. Now remember, one of your A or your B, I think it's the hardener, is going to be the super thick one, okay? So it takes a minute. I could warm it up. I'm bumping it with a heat gun and all that, but we ain't got nothing but time right now. All right, let's see where that gets me. Okay. Let's measure that out. I'm going to put it up beside each other, even though the measurements are close. I need to bump it just a hair. I appreciate y'all being patient with me. All right, here we go. There we go. All right, let's get this mixed up. I'm going to find all my caps in here. See if anybody's saying anything. Ashley says she loves her some Glitzology. Miss Joy is amazing. Hey, Miss Greta. I hope you're doing good. If y'all have not looked at Glitzology's page, you really should give her a look, because she has some amazing stuff. And not to mention, I just know her. I don't know her personally. I've never met her in person. But I've been dealing with her for a good while. We found each other by mistake on a page, or by good fortune is what I'll call it. But she is an incredible person. She does a lot of buy-ins where she'll get a hold of a distributor or a hold of a good deal that she shares with us and says, do you want to purchase? She's not going to sell it on her page. She's just going to buy whoever wants some. And you do the purchase in. You buy what you want, and then she sends it to you. So, for instance, I don't think these are on her page anymore, but these were buy-ins. It's a mold for a double switch, a mold for an outlet, and then the single switch. So you can fill these as molds and decorate them any way you want. These are going to be beach molds for my spare bathroom. And then she actually had, oh, don't get lost. these silicone gloves that you can use. I haven't worn them but one time, and it's only because my hands are so large. But they do fit. They're just a little snug. But all you do is peel that stuff off, the epoxy off, when you're done using them, and you're ready to use again. So it's a great product to have that saves money, and it's really good for the planet too. Yes, they're still on there. I was just looking. Thank you, Miss Ashley. I appreciate your input, because I did not know. I didn't know if she does just the buy-ins, or if she does that, or eventually add those to her page. So thank you very much for that, okay? But y'all, please give Joy just a minute of your time and look at her page. I will share her link again. Everybody's product that I use on any live. Now, I won't go back to yesterday or the day before, excuse me, but anybody that I've talked to you about tonight, I will link their page and their crafting page. I have no problem sharing with you if you want to go over to her page, because they do a lot of tutorials, okay? They do tutorials too, and I think they do an amazing job, and I have no problem sharing, okay? So just after this, give me a few minutes and I'll get it all linked back up. All right, so I am mixing up these two epoxies, A and B. Remember, this is a little extra. Everybody talks about how fast I stir. You're technically supposed to stir very slowly to prevent as many micro bubbles as possible, okay? Now, you are going to get micro bubbles no matter what you do, no matter what epoxy you use. If you bought the little automatic stir where you put the stick in it and it stirs it for you, I have one of those buried in here somewhere. It's a little slow and tedious, but you still get bubbles, okay? Best way to get the bubbles out is a couple ways. You let it sit to the side for a while, for a few minutes by itself. You can get a warm bowl of water and kind of submerge your cup inside of that and give that warmth and give that epoxy time to kind of just settle down from you mixing it. ALE is a plant-based epoxy. It's a wonderful product. It likes you to be kind of gentle with it and slow with it. Usually mix for about a minute or two, mixing, sometimes 3 minutes. I just don't mix that much. Now, that's not what the vendor recommends. So just realize what I'm saying is not perfect. Go by your vendor recommendations. But it's what works best for me. That's what I have seen, okay? All right, just make sure there's no more questions. So I've got this stirred as much as I'm going to stir it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of this to that embossing powder I told you about. I'm spilling everywhere. I'm going to put some of this in here. This is going to be for a drizzle, okay? And I'll talk to you in a minute about drizzles. I'll set that there because we're going to use that on our cup. But I want to go ahead and mix this up so this can be setting up and working out some of the bubbles that we talked about. So it won't be so bubbly when we get ready to put it on. I may have to put a little bit more in here to make it really, really good. But you don't want it too thick that it doesn't work well. Give it a little bit more, because I still have plenty for my cup, okay? I just want this to be semi-thin. I'm going to show you why. You want it to kind of do this. So when you pick it up, you want it to be able to drizzle. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if I can get my shirt in the background. Okay? You want it to be able to drizzle off the stick. So I'm going to set this to the side. I'm going to let that play for a minute. I'm just going to bump this with heat on the top and roll it just a second. We're going to work on it really while it's on the cup, but when it is warm, it spreads a little easier, okay? Checking the messages, and then we're going to get started. All right, guys, remember, there's no bad way or good way to put on epoxy. For this, you're going to use a little more epoxy. It is an alcohol ink. You can do it like this. You can put it on with your finger. You can do it this way. It's whatever you want to do. I'm just saying there's no right or wrong way. All right. Never forget your bottoms. I am one of those who started out decorating my cups, but I always taped the top and the bottom. The reason I taped the top and the bottom is I didn't know what to do with them, y'all. I was scared to death. I had heard so many horror stories about buildup of glitter, and cleaning your rims were impossible. The bottoms were horrific if you didn't tape them off and everything. But as I really got to playing and experimenting and really having a good time with these cups, I just took the tape off one day and said, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to give it a go. I want to see what happens. I want to see if this is going to be good, bad, or ugly. And, you know, either way, y'all, it doesn't cost much to strip a cup. You can strip a cup for about, outside of losing your materials, you can strip a cup for about 60 cents. You just get you some acetone. If you really were to measure it out per cup that you strip. Now, you're not counting in the materials you've lost when you strip. because you're going to lose your glitter, you're going to lose your water slides, or whatever it is, whatever you are unhappy with, and the reason you were stripping it, you're losing that, and I'm not taking into account for that. But it doesn't cost much to strip. I've got a whole box in the kitchen of cups I'm going to strip, so trust me, I know. Now, this stuff goes on amazing, okay? What I'm looking for right now is I want to see if this cup is doing any kind of fish eyeing, or if it looks like it's not thick enough in certain places, because I still got a ton in here. Probably looks like I added a lot, but I really haven't added that much. What I'm really looking for are any blank spots where you can see cup and not alcohol ink, okay? I really like the way that looks. Somebody's probably dying because it looks like so much epoxy. But like I said, once you heat this up, you want a little more than not, so that these colors can blend, okay? Y'all got quiet on me. Why are y'all so quiet? Somebody talk to me. I'm going to slide this, see if I've missed some comments real quick. Nope, I ain't missed anything. Y'all all must be full of dinner, or everybody might be eating dinner. This might be a really bad time to do a tutorial. So I got a couple of places that are really not wanting to hold the epoxy. Could be because I took it off and I handled it a good bit. So this is another little tip that I can tell you about epoxy. If you're getting fish eyes really badly on your cups, it's probably from one of a couple things. One, humidity or temperature in your room or your house where you're doing your crafts. Two, the cup was not clean. It had some type of fingerprints, oil, residue, something on your hands that is repelling the epoxy. And mine's doing it about where I held the cup, now that I think about it. Dust, dirt, anything like that. That's usually where your little fish eyes come from, okay? And that's really about it. Humidity, the fingerprints, dust and dirt. What I'm doing now is I'm warming this cup up. I'm also at the same time popping any micro bubbles that you may see. Once you add the inks, the micro bubbles are going to be fairly minimal because the alcohol inks blend and kind of cover a lot of that. But alcohol inks cups work better when they have some heat already on the cup, so that they can start and begin the swirling process, okay? So that's about all I'm going to do. I am seeing a ton of... I'm going to bump this with my hand, which I typically never do. But I do see some spots that are being repelled. And I'm going to put on another glove. So while these are still covered well, I'm going to go ahead and get some ink on here and see if I can get that on before this starts to harden it all. So, here we go. Let's see what I got. I was eating and watching you, LOL. Watching the Seahawks game and listening to, man, you would give up a game to listen to this. All right. Hey, Miss Christina. I'd be the same way. My husband's in there. And look, I came in here and it wasn't that loud in there. And now it's really loud. I think he's trying to get my attention. And why am I still in here? All right. So, this is Christy Taylor's. And this is her, I'm going to spell it, Persephone Purple. P-E-R-S-E P-H-O-N-E, purple. This is just an alcohol ink, okay? It's going to be really hard to see on a black tumbler, but you will be able to see spots, okay? I don't know if you can see them as well as I am because I am here looking at them. What I do, just keeping up with the, so you'll understand my reasoning for why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. I always do my darker colors first because I'm going to put the white color over top of that. That's when you'll see the color come out. Is when the white drop goes in the middle. Another thing about alcohol inks, you do not want too much alcohol ink on your cup, because what becomes of it is a gooey mess. We'll just put it that way. You will have so many... Oh, I didn't do the bottom. I forgot to decorate my bottom. Always put a drop on your bottom unless you're taping, okay? You want it to be as pretty as the sides. Y'all, this is going to be a Xenia Ruby. This has a BB in it. I know it does because I see it. Just can't hear it yet. I hear it now. Alright. So right now I've got two colors. Ooh, that's a lot. Two colors of purple. This one you can see a little better because it's a little off color to the black cup. What I'm trying to do is make sure I'm not putting it over top of any purple drops that I had, because I don't want to make this cup gummy, okay? Doesn't look real pretty now, I promise. This is going to change in about 2 seconds. This is Pavarotti Pink. You can do two colors. You don't have to do this many colors. I promise, okay? You're buffering on my end. I'm sorry, Greta. Hey, pretty lady. Hey, Miss Karen. I have only did 1 ink cup and wasn't too bad. My dad actually loved it. That is amazing. I'm telling you, these cups are so easy. The trick is not too much heat. I have ruined cups. Ruined them because I put too much heat on them. Okay? I like to go for just a little past where my color run is and start where my color, just because it seems to blend better into the black when you start adding the heat, which we are about to do, okay? Just trying to make sure I got enough of the colors I want in there. So those were all, I think I had 2 that were not, but the other 3 are Christy Taylor's inks, and it's only because I didn't dig. I have all of Christy's stuff in there. Here's where the magic comes. Here's your white, okay? Now this is a shimmer, so you should be able to see the spots. A really pretty shimmer, and you will see it more when I add heat here in a second, okay? I'm going to show you this as soon as we go to adding heat, how pretty this gets. I'm going to do a couple on the bottom that are white. Okay. It may come out faster than I want sometimes. I'm going to find something real quick. It's not exactly... Let's try this. I think this is the one I lost the top on. Sorry for biting it in front of y'all. This one doesn't have a top. And I'm going to have to start running some heat on this in a minute. And I bet what I'm looking for I'm not going to find. Hold on a second. I'm going to stand up here. Maybe not. Every time I look for something, I've got these cute little squeezy things somewhere. Y'all may know what I'm talking about. I'm just adding a little bit of white. White, and not the pearlescent white. Like I said, there's no rhyme or reason to these, guys. I just want a little bit more of some type of a brighter... I should have put a little bit right there. Alright, here we go. Y'all ready? Let's see what we got. All good here. Somebody's telling me it's working on their end. The biggest thing is having the white to run through the colors. Once this gets warm enough and really starts running, while this is doing this, I'm going to be looking. Oh, there's... This is red. It's not in a red bottle. It's a pearl. It's a black one. Trying to get it to run, but also look for another color at the same time. Some of these spots are not going to have enough white. So I'm going to add just a touch more white so you can see the colors pop in a few of these areas. Give me a half a minute here. I just got to get it. That is completely sucked up the white and white and white. All right, that's enough. No more. Say no more. There is no rhyme or reason as to where you put the drops, guys. It's just going to do what it does on its own. And I just realized it's a bad ink. We're going to see if we can save it, though. This ink, and I'm going to show you what it's doing. See right here? This ink is one I did not take out. When I bought it, I don't know why, and I never took it back, but it's a bad ink. I'm disappointed. We're going to see what we can do with it. Can everybody see what this is doing? I hope y'all can see that. So, this one's going in the trash. I knew it as soon as it hit the thing that it wasn't going to do right. It actually acts like an acrylic paint, but we're going to try and make something of it. So this is not, I can go ahead and tell you, not going to be a pretty cup, because this white is not going to do what I wanted it to do. So, let me show you what we're going to do in response to that. You know what we're going to do? I'm just going to show you. You know what we're going to do. Y'all bear with me a second. Give me 2 seconds. I'm trying to come up with an idea. I'm going to show you my first idea. Y'all want to see my first idea? You know I threw the alcohol ink away. Somebody's going to laugh on me. If somebody's here that knows me pretty well, let's see, all good here. Y'all know what I'm fixing to do if you know me. Bet you can guess. Because certain things aggravate me. But not to the point that I give up. But they do get to where they aggravate me a little bit. So, let's see what we're going to do in response. Here's what we're going to do in response. Y'all see how ugly that is? Very ugly. Very ugly. Watch. Please don't think I'm a meanie head. And I'm not going to waste y'all's time with a cup that doesn't look pretty. It's not. It's good. This will take 5 minutes because I have no more explaining to do. We're just going to do it. Missy has said it. I hate it when my wife does that. So this is what I'm doing. Y'all ready? Makes a mess. But sometimes it just does it. Okay? It just does. And it's a pain in the butt. And it makes you angry. And sometimes there's no way to fix it. But I am going to dump it. Let it dry on its own. Find me another pool noodle. And we're going to do this little bitty cup. We're going to put some alcohol ink on it. We're going to make this right. Okay? When all else fails, guys, try again, okay? There actually is enough left that I don't even have to make any more. You won't even have to watch me make any more. If I do, I just will. Because remember, this is not fast set. I can keep going with this for a little bit until I feel like... This is just a cup I had painted over in the corner. It had a few little defects. So this is not being given away, but I'm using it for sole purpose of trying to show y'all this alcohol ink cup. Now look, I promise you, y'all are going to see some people out here that do lives that don't have these problems. And that's amazing. But I'm trying to tell you, if you have a problem, y'all regroup from it. Look, I'm kind of disappointed it didn't work. It didn't work. But you know what? We're going to make it work. I should have known better because when I picked it up, I looked at it and I thought, no, I think I threw it away. But that bottle has done that so many times to me. It's not funny. So look, we're just going to add some epoxy to this cup. Make sure it's enough. That's one of the really important things. You've got to have enough epoxy to get the alcohol inks to turn. Okay. I don't think it's quite enough. I'll just add a little more. But I think this is going to be plenty. That's the one thing about glitter and alcohol inks. If you don't have enough, if you have a lot of epoxy on a cup, you're going to use a lot of glitter. Okay, and that's the truth. If you have a lot of epoxy on an alcohol ink cup, it's really not going to be a big deal. It actually gives you a much prettier swirl, but you do run the risk of burning that epoxy if you're not careful and you put too much heat on that. I see another one of my tumbler friends up here. She's actually local to me too, Miss Missy. She has a great page too, guys. Her company is Cutie Pies, I think. Cutie Pies. If I'm wrong, Missy, you chime in. But y'all, she does tutorials too, from what I remember seeing. I've watched her several times, and I want to say she was doing a tutorial. But I don't think you can watch enough of them. If you feel like you need the help and the assistance, and you're learning, that's the most important thing, and getting your questions answered, y'all watch whoever you can, okay? Karen's saying she hates when her white does that. Alright, let's see. Look, we're going to make this cup. It'll probably be prettier because it's on white. But I don't give up. I'm not going to give up for you guys. And I still want to get to this Cricut real quick. If y'all have any questions in your mind, there's one thing in particular I know I want to do. And that's to show people how to fuse their words together. Okay? I have a lot of people who are using fonts off of dafont.com. And when they get on there and they bring it in and they type it, they don't know how to connect the letters. So that's one thing I definitely want to show y'all tonight. If you can think of something else that you do want to see when we get on there, and it won't take long. Those type of questions don't take long to answer. We'll put a couple drops on the bottom. This is her Pavarotti Pink. That's from Missy. Excuse me, Christy Taylor. I got a Missy and a Christy on here. They're both local to me, so I know both of them. This is a purple. I love pink, y'all. Y'all know I love pink. Purple's probably my second favorite color. Don't even know if they'll look good together. But, you know, I've got 15 grandbabies. So they can use these little bitty cups like this. Just so I haven't wasted anything, okay? This is a little bit of a magenta. Doing something funky there. Oh, that's a lot. Give it a drop. Give it a drop. I won't take much of this. Give it a drop. Let's see, this is doing something funky. Oh well. We're not going to give up. We might give up for the night here in a minute. Let's see. And this is a red. This is really pretty, guys. I don't know if you can see that, but it's got a ton of shimmer to it. It's Zinnia Ruby is what it says. But it just has so much pretty shimmer to it. It's crazy. I did the purple. And I need to do her white. This has got shimmer in it too. This is her Astoria white. I was talking about Missy a while ago. I don't know if she's still on here or not. Missy, this lady is local to us. If you're still on here. She is out of Liberty, I believe. But she has alcohol inks and those Pathlon paints that you use instead of spray paint. You can apply her paints with a brush, and you don't have to sand or spray paint. So she's an amazing little lady. Alright, let's see. That's right. Christina is saying every tutorial is different. You're going to learn from anybody you watch. You may learn from me. You make more mistakes than you do pretty cups. You may learn from me something you've never seen before. Every tutorial is going to be different. I'm not going to say this one's still going to be pretty. I do see some things that are going wrong with the cup. Could be because I grabbed this one off the shelf as well and did not clean it. But I'm going to show you how you can fix some things. You're going to see some little fish eyes coming around where alcohol ink doesn't take in the cup. I'm going to show you with this drizzle that you can go back and fix some of these spots. Okay? That's one good thing I can say about drizzle. If you don't get all the coverage you want and you don't like, you can add a few more drops. But you don't want to crowd this cup with too many inks. Always make sure you take care of the bottom. The bottom reminds me, for some reason, I didn't use an orange. It reminds me of a Clemson. That's a local football team to us. College team. It's Clemson University. Some of y'all may know where I'm talking about, even not from here. So, I just saw a few spots. I'm going to add just a drop more alcohol ink. Let it run. Heat it up a minute. We're going to do this drizzle. And then this cup will be done. Again, if you don't like it, throw it in a strip bucket. It cost me about 50 cents to strip it. And you start again. But this one's actually going to be really cute. And for the girls, I could actually put some stickers on here from Dollar Tree and make it into something. I'm thinking like trolls, like the Poppy Girls, something like that. That would be really cute on it, I think. I could be wrong. Now this will either make it great or make it worse. But these are the drizzles I was telling y'all about, guys, okay? We're just going to do a little bit in one particular area and see what happens with it. Because this cup isn't that bad. It's got some spots. But I'm going to do some drizzle to the top. And all this is that embossing powder mixed in epoxy. Okay. Remember, the cup is still warm. So I can physically see this glitter spinning on the cup because the cup's still warm where I just heated it. And once I see what it's kind of doing and what it's looking like, because remember, this is going to be heavier. Can y'all see that? You can do some stripes in here. You don't have to have perfect rhyme or reason, but you do want to make them very thin, as thin as you can, because this top part is kind of spreading out, okay? And it doesn't look bad. So just take this and kind of drizzle in different areas. It's not going to be perfect, but while this cup is still warm, it'll spread and do its own thing, okay? And like, if you don't care for it after it's on there, of course you're stuck. You can either strip it, put you a few stickers on it, put their name on it, different things like that to cover up spots that you're not crazy about. This is just something that I learned on my own, and it does make the glitter completely stand out, okay? So I've got a good bit on the bottom that makes it look, but it's still spinning because it's warm. I have to kind of touch it in a few places. It's not wanting to come off my stick. So I think I'm going to add a little more. That's too fast. It's going too fast. Right there. I'm trying to think of where I want it. That'd be a perfect spot for a name. Okay. I'm going to add a touch more towards the top. Just like, whoop, that's going to drip too much. You can kind of see what it's going to do. Okay. Y'all, it's not perfect. You can decorate this anyway. If you wanted to make a circle, and I would make a circle somewhere, but then it'll look crazy. The only thing is, after you place your glitter, you really don't want to heat it up too much. But if you're not crazy about a little tiny bit of it, bump it with a tiny bit of heat, and you'll see it kind of spread out. It doesn't take much. But remember, this is a little extra, so I have time to work with this. If it was fast set, you would have, this would already be set. Okay? All I'm doing is add a little bit of heat so this will spread out. But I don't want it so hot that it just spreads everywhere and ruins the cup. Okay? Let's see what that does. It's gotten warm enough that I'm getting a little roll. Alright, let's see what it does. The top I really like, I'll be honest with you. And I've got some dry spots at the bottom. I may just do this just because it is for kids. Give the bottom a little more something. Who knows? Who knows, guys? Because after I get done playing with this, we're going to play on the Cricut. These are very messy cups. I'm going to keep it real with you. Do I like this cup? On a scale of 1 to 10, about a 3. But, did we have fun? Yes. It is not too. When I put stickers on, Ashley, like from the Dollar Tree, I don't seal them. No, ma'am. Somebody's telling me it looks pretty. Well, thank you. I need to know about everything on the Cricut Explorer era. I think it's what my husband got me for Christmas. All right. We're going to do that. Look, I'm going to put one more ring around the top, and then we're done with this cup. It's really not that bad. I think just because I had that disaster sitting over here in the trash can, I know I got to pull out tomorrow and strip. And the fact that I was live with you guys is kind of embarrassing. But you know what? Y'all, if I'm doing this on a live, imagine I can't be the only one in history who has ever messed up a cup. You know, I'm not. I know I'm not. I can't tell you, but I don't know. What do y'all think? You tell me. I'm going to go on. I'm making a big old mess right here is what I'm doing. I'm going to go on what y'all say. So let's look at this with a little bit of light and see if it makes it better or worse. That might make it worse. I don't know, but we'll see. Can everybody see the colors and the shades? And we just put a ring at the top and a ring at the bottom. And I did that more just because it's a kid's cup and it kind of gives it a center to back up all the busyness everywhere else. It's messed up, but it's not that bad. The kids could use it. The kids could use it. All right. It's fun anyway. The bottom is cute as it can be. There's like glitter circles everywhere. And I'd put a name on here. I don't know what, if I'd make it in particular for one of the babies or not. I got 2 that really love glitter, so it'd probably be for them to use. But that's the fun part of that. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to bring up the computer. Okay. I got to kind of go to the side. Of course, everything that's in here in this craft room has decided to collapse, but we're not going to deal with that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video here in a minute, and I'm going to get this computer set up so that we can do some things in here. And we're going to talk about, how about we do the name fusing? Let me see what else everybody's saying. You're being too hard. It will bleed and look pretty. I think it will too, Lori. I'm just being hard on myself. I think it's really cute. I like the pink and purple together. I love glitter. I don't care what color the glitter is. I'm fascinated with glitter. I love it. I got it everywhere. If I could do the bathroom counters and glitter, I probably would, but my husband would divorce me. But I do like it. I see the shimmer. I wish you guys, I'm going to take a picture of it because you really can't see it that great. Now, my light is not doing it justice. But Christy Taylor's inks, the shimmer inks, are beautiful. So I will take some close-up shots with the camera flash on. so you can really see how pretty her inks are, okay? And just give her a few minutes of your time and just give her page a look. You might be really surprised what you find and something that you've been looking for. You don't ever know. And keep in mind when you do look, her Pantheon paints, that they will take the place of you prepping, okay? All right, so what I'm going to do is put this video on pause for a minute. Don't leave me. I'm going to come back and resume as soon as I get this up on the computer screen, okay? And then we'll get started again. So don't leave me. I'll be back in just a minute, okay?